Welcome back to Time News TV, where we uncover the most shocking and unusual stories from the world of fame. In today's video, we're diving into some of the strangest and most unexpected celebrity deaths that left fans stunned, and the world talking. From bizarre accidents to unbelievable twists of fate, these are the stories you won't believe are real. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Time News TV for more fascinating celebrity tales.
Judith Barsi, born June 6, 1978, was the adorable child star of The Land Before Time and Jaws, The Revenge. By age 10, she'd already earned over $100,000, money that fueled her father's alcoholism and rage. On July 25, 1988, in a fit of jealousy over her success, Joseph Barsi shot 10-year-old Judith in her sleep, then killed her mother before setting their house ablaze. Neighbors reported hearing Judith's final screams. The tragedy led to stricter child actor protections, but for Judith, help came too late. David Carradine, born December 8, 1936, was the kung fu star who brought Eastern philosophy to Western TV. But on June 3, 2009, the 72-year-old was found naked in a Bangkok hotel closet, a rope around his neck and genitals. Though ruled accidental autoerotic asphyxiation, the scene sparked conspiracy theories. His ex-wives claimed he'd never engaged in such practices, while the stretched position of his body suggested possible foul play. The Kill Bill actor's death remains one of Hollywood's most bizarre mysteries, a martial arts legend undone by kink or crime. Bobby Fuller, born October 22, 1942, was the rocker behind the 1966 hit I Fought the Law. On July 18, 1966, the 23-year-old was found dead in his car, drenched in gasoline with bruises on his body. The LAPD ruled it suicide, but the coroner noted he couldn't have self-inflicted the wounds. Rumors swirled about mafia ties or a music industry hit. His mother found $3,000 cash in his guitar case days later. Payment or warning. The case remains officially closed, but fans still demand justice for this rock and roll murder. Thelma Todd, born July 29, 1906, was the ice cream blonde of 1930s comedies. On December 16, 1935, the 29-year-old was found dead in her car, slumped over the wheel in her garage. Though ruled carbon monoxide poisoning, evidence suggested foul play. Her broken nose, missing jewelry, and ties to mobster Lucky Luciano. Just days earlier, she'd told friends, "If anything happens to me, don't call it suicide." Her popular cafe became a mob hangout after her death, fueling theories she was killed for refusing to launder money. Natalie Wood, born July 20, 1938, was the West Side Story icon who feared water since childhood. On November 29, 1981, the 43-year-old vanished from her yacht near Catalina Island. Found floating in a red down jacket, her bruises didn't match drowning. Husband Robert Wagner waited hours to report her missing. The captain heard Wood scream, "Help me," before splashes. In 2012, the case reopened as homicide. Was it a drunken accident or something darker? The waves that terrified Natalie ultimately claimed her in Hollywood's most chilling cold case. Bob Crane, born July 13, 1928, was Hogan's Heroes' charming Colonel Hogan. Off-screen, his sex addiction led to a secret life of videotaped orgies. On June 29, 1978, the 49-year-old was found bludgeoned in his Arizona apartment, a camera tripod, likely the weapon. His friend John Carpenter, who often supplied women, became the prime suspect, but was acquitted. Crane's own blood was smeared on the closet door, suggesting he tried to hide. The case remains unsolved, a grim end for a man obsessed with recording his pleasures. Rebecca Sheffer, born November 6, 1967, was the My Sister Sam star whose death changed Hollywood forever. On July 18, 1989, obsessed fan Robert Bardo rang her doorbell. When the 21-year-old politely said hello, he shot her point blank. Sheffer's Murder led to California's anti-stalking laws and ended the era of publicly available celebrity addresses. Her final role was ironically in scenes from the class struggle in Beverly Hills, completed weeks before her death. A rising talent extinguished by the dark side of fame. Lane Staley, born August 22, 1967, was the haunting voice of Alice in Chains, whose lyrics foreshadowed his demise. On April 5, 2002, the 34-year-old was found decomposed in his Seattle condo sitting upright, with a syringe still in hand. He'd been dead for 2 weeks. The coroner noted a lethal mix of heroin and cocaine, but the real killer was isolation. His mother later revealed Lane begged for help but pushed everyone away. His weight had dropped to 86 pounds. A grunge icon who became the very down in a hole he sang about. Diana Dors, born October 23, 1931, was Britain's answer to Marilyn Monroe, a blonde bombshell with a rebellious streak. But in 1984, doctors misdiagnosed her ovarian cancer as stress, leaving the 52-year-old to writhe in agony for months. By the time they operated, the disease had ravaged her body. Dors spent her final days screaming for morphine while documenting her decay on video. Her last words, "I'm not afraid to die, just don't want to be there when it happens." A tragic end for a woman who once said, "I've lived enough for 10 lives." John Denver, born December 31, 1943, was the folk legend behind Take Me Home, Country Roads. But on October 12, 1997, his experimental plane plunged into the Pacific near Monterey. The 53-year-old had just bought the aircraft, despite being denied certification for his lack of training. Investigators found the fuel switch positioned wrong, a fatal error for a novice pilot. The man who sang about flying higher than eagles died because he couldn't reach the backup fuel tank in time. His guitar was recovered from the wreckage, still playable but forever silent. Brittany Murphy, born November 10, 1977, was the radiant star of Clueless and 8 Mile. But on December 20, 2009, the 32-year-old collapsed in her bathroom, poisoned by a cocktail of prescription drugs and heavy metals. 5 months later, her husband Simon Monjack died identically in the same house. Conspiracy theories swirled. Was it mold? Murder? Autopsies revealed severe anemia and pneumonia. But the LAPD quietly reopened the case in 2023. Brittany's father demanded exhuming her body, claiming she was too vibrant to just drop dead. A Hollywood mystery that still chills. Steve Irwin, born February 22, 1962, was the crocodile hunter whose bravery became his undoing. On September 4, 2006, the 44-year-old was filming when a stingray's barb pierced his heart, like a hot knife through butter. Crew members desperately tried to stem the bleeding, but Irwin pulled the barb out himself, sealing his fate. His final words, caught on camera but never aired, were reportedly, "I'm dying." The man who wrestled deadly reptiles was killed by an animal considered docile. The footage was destroyed at his family's request, leaving only legend. Selena, born April 16, 1971, was the queen of Tejano music, on the brink of crossover stardom. But on March 31, 1995, the 23-year-old was shot in the back by Yolanda Saldivar, her fan club president. Selena fled bleeding to the lobby of Adaze. In clutching a ring Saldivar had stolen, the killer sat in her truck, revving the engine to drown out Selena's screams. By the time help arrived, the star had bled out, her last words begging for the time. A murder that shattered Latino America. River Phoenix, born August 23, 1970, was Hollywood's golden boy, vegan activist and Oscar nominee at 18. But on October 31, 1993, the 23-year-old collapsed, convulsing outside the Viper Room after a speedball injection. His brother Joaquin's 911 call captured sheer panic. "He's dying." John Frusciante, of Red Hot Chili Peppers, watching backstage reportedly said, "I told him not to take that shit." River was dead within minutes, his blood, a toxic mix of heroin and cocaine. The club became infamous. Years later, Joaquin would win an Oscar for playing another doomed star. Chris Cornell, born July 20th, 1964, was the voice of Soundgarden and Audioslave, whose lyrics hinted at inner demons. On May 18, 2017, after a Detroit concert, the 52-year-old was found hanged in his hotel bathroom. His wife argued it was accidental at event, had left him delirious. But the coroner ruled suicide, noting he'd tied a band around his neck first. The man who wrote Black Hole Sun left no note, just a final text to his wife. "I'm just tired." His death sparked debates about prescription drugs' role in musicians' suicides. Aaliyah, born January 16, 1979, was the R&B princess with a jet-setting future. On August 25, 2001, the 22-year-old boarded a small plane in the Bahamas after filming Rock the Boat. Overloaded by 700 pounds, it crashed 60 seconds after takeoff. Aaliyah's body was so badly burned, she was ID'd by a Rolex and jewelry. The pilothood failed drug tests had been bribed to fly. Her funeral drew thousands. Years later, toxicology revealed she'd been given sedatives against her will. A death that reeked of industry exploitation. Michael Hutchence, born January 22, 1960, was INXS's magnetic frontman whose sex appeal hid depression. On November 22, 1997, the 37-year-old was found hanged in his Sydney hotel naked, with a belt around his neck. While ruled suicide, rumors swirled autoerotic asphyxiation gone wrong, or a rage-fueled act after losing custody of his daughter. His brain showed damage from a 1992 assault that left him unable to taste or smell. The rock god who sang Suicide Blonde died amid legal battles and whispers of a secret final phone call. Phil Hartman, born September 24, 1948, was SNL's genius impressionist beloved for his stability in chaotic comedy. But on May 28, 1998, the 49-year-old was shot dead in his sleep by wife Bryn, who'd relapsed on cocaine and Zoloft. She then kissed his corpse, drove to a friend's house to confess, and returned to kill herself. Their 2 children slept through it all. Hartman's Simpsons roles were retired out of respect. His news radio cast never recovered. The man who made millions laugh died silently to the sound of a gunshot.